Hi there! In this video, we will teach you how to add CSS to HTML code. But before we get to that, let's talk about the general structure of CSS. It consists of several elements. Elements that indicate what to change are called CSS properties. Each CSS property can have several values. For example, to change the text color, you need to use the color property. Please note that you need to use the American spelling of color. The British one won't work. In the function of the value, we specify the color. For example, blue, red, green, or yellow. In CSS, there are more than 100 different colors. We'll talk about the ways to set the color in a separate video lesson. There's another property called font family. Please note that these two words need to be written with a hyphen. This property specifies the font for a text. For the value, we'll specify a font name, for example, Arial or Times New Roman, or something else. If a font name, like Times New Roman, consists of several words, it has to be written in quotes. If it consists of one word, quotes are optional. We'll talk about fonts in a separate video. Now let's learn how to add these properties to HTML. There are three ways to do this. Let's talk about each of them in turn. The first way is to write CSS directly in the tag you want to change. You can do this with the style attribute. Then we add properties and corresponding values using the following form. Property, colon, then the value, then a semicolon, then the next property, colon, value, semicolon, and so on. This method is also called the inline method. For example, in HTML we have two p tags. On the screen you see how these p tags are displayed. Say, we want to change the color of both paragraphs from black to blue. To do this, we need to add style attribute. Therefore, we write style equals sign, and then in quotes, color, colon, blue, and after that, semicolon. So as you see, we've written style attribute and then its value by writing color blue. Now, let's try to do it in practice. Let's create a p tag in the body with the text "All your dreams can come true." Refresh the page. And we see how it is displayed on the web page. Now, let's make the paragraph blue. To do this, let's write style equals sign and then in quotes color, column, blue, and ending with a semicolon. And let's set for our paragraph the font family Arial. As you can see, our paragraph is blue and in Arial. Again, let's have a look. First, we set the property color, then colon, then the value of this property, blue, then semicolon. And then in the next property, font family, colon, and the value of this property, Arial. And then again, at the end, we have to set a semicolon. If we had one more property, we would write this property here. Now, let's add another p tag. For example, with the text, "Just do it." As you see, the paragraph is in black and in the default font. And if we want to make this paragraph blue and in Arial, we have to copy the whole style attribute and paste it here. If we have 2 or 3 p tags, this is more or less okay. But if I had 10 p tags, it wouldn't be okay. Because if we needed to change the color of all the p tags from blue to another color, it wouldn't be convenient, because we would have to change each p tag one at a time. So that's why a second way of connecting CSS was created. In the first way, we added attribute style. In the second, we just add a style tag. The style tag has to be written in the head tag. It's very, very important. As you see, I have written in the style tag p and then a pair of curly brackets. as you see, an opening curly bracket and a closing one. And then write color, colon, blue, semicolon. Okay, let's have a closer look at our style tag. So, in our style tag, I wrote P and then a pair of curly brackets and the font family, colon, Arial, semicolon, and then color, colon, yellow, semicolon. The P tag is called a selector because among all the tags available, we're only selecting the P tags. And here, for example, color is a property and yellow is a value. And font family is also a property and Arial is a value. Let's take a look how it works in practice. We have to write the style tag inside of the head tag. In the style tag, we write P, then curly brackets, and then we simply need to copy what we did in the previous method. And we paste it here. We can leave it as it is, or we can write each property on a separate line. I highly recommend writing each property on a separate line because if we write it this way, then it's much easier to read the code. And as you see, each property starts already tabbed. I highly recommend applying the same approach. Now we can delete the P tags that we don't need. And for the P tags that we do need, we can delete style attribute. Now, let's see if something changes on our web page. As you can see, nothing has changed. So everything works as it worked in the first way of CSS connecting. No matter how many P tags we add, each P tag will be blue and in Arial. So, great. This way is much more convenient than the last one. However, this isn't even the best option, since this way only works for the page that contains the style tag. But then websites typically contain several pages. For example, index.html and contactus.html. To specify the same style for the P tags for every page, we would have to copy the whole P tag with its content and insert it into each HTML page. And if we wanted to change the text color in the P tag, we would have to go into every HTML document and change the color. That would be very inconvenient. That's why there's a third method which allows us to add CSS with the help of a separate file. Basically, you create a separate folder called CSS. And then, in this folder you create a file called style with a CSS extension. Then you connect this file to each HTML page. As a result, you only need to write the style once in a separate file, and then it works for every tag that it's specified to affect. The style file gets connected to the same head tag, but in this situation, it's done with the help of a link tag with two mandatory attributes. Rel with the value style sheet, to indicate that we're connecting styles, and the attribute href to specify the file which we're connecting to. In our example, href will be the following: css/style.css. In our CSS file, we'll have a P tag, curly brackets, and then color blue. Let's see how it works in practice. First, let's copy the file index.html and rename it to contactus.html. Now, let's create the folder CSS in which we will create the file style.css. So let's go to Sublime and create a new file. Let's save it to the CSS folder with the name style.css. Now you see that our file, style.css, is open. Now we will add the content we wrote before in the style tag. Make sure that you don't include the style tag, only the content in the style tag. Now we can delete this style tag. Let's connect the style.css file to our index.html file. To do this, we write a link tag and two necessary attributes. Rel with the value stylesheet, and then href attribute where we write the path to our file, and that is css/style.css. Congratulations! We've connected the two files. Now, let's open the file Contact Us. Here we will also delete the style tag. And we will change this content to, for example, h1 with the text Contact Us. And here we also connect the CSS file to this page. Okay, done. Refresh our index.html page, and we see that everything works. Now, let's open the Contact Us HTML file. And we see that the text Contact Us is bold and in black. Why? Because right now, we have styles only for p tags. So if we also want a color to h1, what do we need to do? We have to write in the style.css file h1, and that means we are selecting all h1s. Then curly brackets, then color, for example red. Save it and refresh the page. As you see, h1 is red while all the paragraphs are blue. So everything works. To sum things up, if you want to give styles to one tag, you should use the style attribute. If you want to give styles to a page, you should use the style tag. And if you want to give styles to many pages, not just one, you have to create a separate style.css file with all the styles in it and then connect it to the HTML files with the help of a link tag. It's best to use the third way, since it allows us to set styles for separate tags, one page, or many pages, and therefore it covers everything we need. So that's all for this lesson. See you in the next one.